So, unfortunately, Alex couldn't make it for this one. She's in the middle of her dance pandemonium at the moment, or I like to call it a cult because I swear to God
Dance
it is.
cult. Hell yeah.
But
I can see that.
for this episode, I actually have the perfect fill in. I have the boss man himself from over at the SuperPod Network. We're never going to let this die, Aaron.
Yeah, it's me. Oh man. I hope when y'all say boss man, I hope I'm not being bossy about this whole network thing. That's my one
No.
biggest worry. I just don't want to be bossy about things because like everybody's just doing their own thing. I'm just changing the website constantly.
Literally, the boss man thing started from it was during one of the 3DO, the unrecorded 3DO after shows where me and Thrak were just shooting the shit. And I think I just jokingly said Aaron the boss man, and it just kind of became a thing that we just kept saying.
Boss man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all in good fun though. But
Okay, good.
I guess like I say every episode, though, how you been?
Pretty good, man. I think I'm coming down with something. Maybe feeling like sleepy and my throat hurts, but it's not like totally there yet, so I'm all right. But how are you, man?
I'm getting there. It's We're in that time of the year now where it's like you wake up in the morning and it's like completely freezing over here, and then like by the time I get out of work, it's like 80s still.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, that sounds just like us. It's usually like fuck, it's usually like high 50s over here in the morning, and then as soon as 1 o'clock hits, bam, it's like 82, 85.
hmm,
So I
yeah,
get it.
it's that crazy time of the year.
It
Uh,
sucks.
and unfortunately, because I'm at work, I'm missing all the wonderful gaming news, like the whole PS5 debacle that happened yesterday.
Oh my god, you didn't miss much, man. I only caught it. Like I only know as much as I know because over in the Play Along podcast or yeah, Play Along podcast server, um Jared was doing this stream of the whole thing and I was just watching along with them kind of joking around and it was literally just the dude it was a dude talking and then they would show gameplay and he'd be like, "Oh, look at these trees in the background." He wasn't British. I'm just doing this for fun. "Look at the trees in the background and how good they look this time around on this PS5 Pro." And yeah, just you didn't miss much.
No, I saw the pricing and I went, "Oh my god, what are they doing?"
Yeah, real shot in the foot, dude. And like, eh, and then there's this other article from I think IGN or one of those sites where it's like, um, Sony justifies the price of the PS5 Pro, based on the fact that it has no competition or whatever. And this is all based off like what a market analyst said. So it literally does not fucking matter. But um, no, yeah, it's dumb. It's really
Yeah.
stupid.
I think me and Thrak were joking about it last night. We were saying it's really funny because like Sony's not doing so hot right now, Microsoft's not doing so hot right now. Nintendo has the chance to do the funniest fucking thing real soon.
They really do, man. They could totally steal the PS5 Pro's thunder by just announcing the Switch 2 and just being like, "Oh, and by the way, it's fucking $300." Like
They honestly like they could Sony has set that bar so high now. They could say 400 and we'd probably still think it's acceptable.
that's true, man. Like I mean I guess I could get it or I guess I can understand if maybe if anyone out there is a gigantic Sony fan and they love them to death and they want to own everything Sony and they're just like, "Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't upgraded from the PS4 yet, so might as well go with the Pro." But still, I mean, the difference in performance is like this much. It's just so fucking. It's like a percentage, man. It's just not worth it. It's like
Oh yeah.
it, it's not like the jump from the original Xbox One to the One X, or like it's not even like the leap from other mid-gen upgrades, like when you went from like the Fat Boy PS2 to the Slim, or like shit like that. I don't
I mean
know.
I get called a Sony fanboy every now and then. I mean, I got a sign in the background there and everything, but like, even I was like, I couldn't even defend them on this one. I mean, I laugh because it's like I got like PS4 controller chilling here, but then I also have a 360 controller off to the side, so it's like, it's just all over the place here. But yeah,
I get it, man. Yeah.
that was sure something.
It's yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's something. Apparently, the PS5 disk drives, like the external disk drives, they're selling out because people are buying the shit out of them to just have one before the PS5 Pro comes out, and then they're all immediately out of stock or whatever because it doesn't have a disk drive.
Yeah, I know. When I saw no disk drive, I was like, nope, I don't need it.
Like, sure. Well, how much does the external disk drive go for? Is it like
So
50 or is it?
it's like over 100. Like, yeah,
Whoa.
like
Okay.
the combined price of the Pro and the disk drive is something like $800, and I just went no.
Oh God. Nope.
Like
No, sir.
I joked about it. I was like, they're actually more expensive than a launch 3DO. That is quite the achievement.
I think
Ugh.
I think Thrak made the same thing. I'm trying to move my camera so I'm not too far to one side. I think Thrak made the same joke in a tweet too. He was like, $700 for a console at launch. Where have I heard that before? And it
Yeah,
was a little gif of the 3DO thing.
yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like they did not learn at all.
Nope.
Uh,
No, they didn't. I just it's just not worth it this time around, man. Like maybe I'm just getting old, but like console, I guess generational leaps just aren't what they used to be. I don't know.
well, especially because games are so expensive now, and like I look at them, like the only game that I'm remotely interested in picking up right now is Astrobot, which is hilarious because it's like
Yeah.
Sony literally went from like hero to zero in like a second. Like it's crazy.
I
Um,
keep, I keep seeing this one meme where it's oh, what was it? It's basically like we are so fucked, like, and then it goes up, and it starts off with like some low point. I forget what it was, and it's like we're so fucked, and then it
oh, it
goes
was
up to
The Concord
there.
shit.
Yep, and then it goes up to Astrobot. It's like, dude, we're so back, and then it goes back down to the PS5 Pro. God damn it, we're fucked.
Yeah. I don't know what was more of a mood whiplash, that or the fucking Linkin Park reunion news. Like,
Ooh, yeah, that too. That's super weird. Oh, I mean, like, good for them, but like they might as well have just started a new band. Like
yeah. Well,
at
it
least
was
it,
like that one was like it came out and everyone was like, "Oh, this actually isn't that bad." And then it's like, "Oh yeah, she's a Scientologist and supported Danny Masterson." And everyone was like, everyone was like, "Oh, well, that took a mood
damn.
whiplash."
Yeah, that certainly has me needing a chiropractic appointment, man. That's
Yeah,
sci it's okay to be a Scientologist, I guess, but like to support Danny Masterson? Why, man? What?
yeah. I saw
Oh
that and I
boy.
was like, I was like, this is too much. I'm not looking too any deeper
This
into
too
this.
much. Um man, what else has happened in the news?
We lost
Uh
James Earl Jones, sadly.
oh yeah, we did. Rip Mufasa. What else did he do? Darth Vader.
Darth Vader,
Oh,
Mr. Myrtle from The Sandlot.
Mr. Myrtle. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, he was also my favorite, Savick the Preparer in Simpsons, the first Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. The random third alien on the spaceship that was making food.
Oh
Uh,
man, great stuff. Great news.
yeah, it's been one of those kind of weeks.
It's just one of those days.
But
Oh,
on
oh yeah. I was gonna say the debates are happening too, but we won't need to mess with that. We can
no,
just yeah.
I saw that. I went great. I'm
Yep.
not paying attention to that.
Give us one.
Well, it's we literally have it's the South Park meme. We got the douche or the turd sandwich. It's the same shit again.
We
So
don't have we don't have to get too into it, but like who are the candidates now? Is it Trump and Kamala Harris? Is that just it? Is that it?
yeah, that's it. I don't get political ever. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
say I
me
don't
neither.
plan on voting for either of them. I'll leave it at that.
I'm gonna drop a big in here on GNC. I've never voted. I
Oh,
sorry everybody.
I
I
mean,
hope this doesn't lessen anybody's like faith in me. I don't know.
I'm only old enough to have voted once, and I'm not even gonna go there. So
Yeah.
yeah, because
Sorry everybody.
that is the most political we will ever get on GNC, and we're gonna move on from there. Um,
Damn it.
oh, but on a lighter note, collecting. You know the thing in the title of gaming and collecting that we barely ever talk about.
Oh, we'll
Um,
talk about it all right.
so this is the fourth installment of this little series that me and Alex kind of came up with last year. The whole gimmick is essentially we realized the gaming collecting podcast. We don't ever talk about collecting. For a while, it was a joke, but now we kind of like. I'd actually like to talk about collecting every now and then on this show.
Yeah.
So we came up kind of, I guess, for the audience who doesn't remember, and to like fill Aaron in essentially for this. The idea behind um, collecting stories and God, I'm having a brain fart on what the name of the
It's
series
all
is.
right, dude.
Oh, it's late. Collecting stories and experiences.
There we go.
The basic idea behind this series is essentially I have a list of questions I kind of put together. Shout out to James from the Top Teners. He was kind of our guinea pig when we put this series together. So he kind of
Hell
like
yeah.
vetted all of our questions initially.
He's a great guy.
Mm. Yeah. Shout out to him and Liv and the stuff they're doing over on YouTube right now, by the way. But yeah, the idea behind collecting stories essentially, I have a bunch of questions I'll ask to the guest, and we'll kind of shoot the shit and talk collecting, but going through. Basically, the questions are just to keep the conversation going. That's kind of the way I kind of describe it. So, on that note, I guess I'll start from the top. How did you get into collecting? Like, what year?
Let's see. I think before I get into it, I'm gonna let this cat out because she keeps scratching the door. I'll be like 2 seconds.
No worries.
Yeah, the year I started collecting, I think it was 2015 or 2016. I can't remember for sure, but it was um it was around the time I started the job that I work at now. It's just been almost 10 years. I've been at the same job for almost 10 years. That's disgusting.
Wow.
Um, but what was it? There was a bunch of guys who I met that I'm friends with now, have been friends with since I started, and they'll still are heavily into Pokemon. And they were like, "Dude, Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out in like 2 weeks. You gotta get it." And so I was like, "Hell yeah, okay." I haven't played. All right, I think I stopped buying Pokemon games back in like the third gen. Like once I moved out on my own,
Mhm.
I pretty much didn't own a handheld until when I started collecting. Pretty much, I bought a 3DS or new 3DS XL. Bought Pokemon Moon, and then from there it spiraled. So yeah,
Nice.
2015.
It's funny because like Sun and Moon was infamously like the Pokemon gen that was where I finally gave up on Pokemon. Ironically, um, I have a very love hate relationship with that series.
Yeah,
More Game Freak than anything. But it's funny because you say 2015. That was still in the kind of what I consider like the golden era of collecting, like before stuff got
yeah,
stupid. Because I had started back in 2009, and it was like it was a completely different scene back in 2009. Like I famously I got my collecting journey started when I got my Sega Dreamcast. I got it brand new in the box for like they had a ton of new old stock of like Dreamcasts on Amazon back in the day, and you could get like a brand new sealed, never been used Dreamcast for like $50.
man, that 2015 was definitely yeah. It was, but way before. I think anything. It was before the pre or fuck. What am I trying to say? It was before the pandemic explosion.
So
Basically,
the way I remember it is because I mean everyone knows I've been in this for way too long, but it really started the spike really started around like the end of 2018, and it gradually was going up throughout 2019, and then the pandemic happened and it just got stupid, and it's
yeah.
never recovered since then. But it is a bit of a misconception because it did technically start a couple of years before that.
I guess
um
that's true.
it
Yeah,
wasn't nearly as noticeable though because not as many people were talking about it at the time.
yeah, man. Like I remember before. No, I guess I started working from home. I started like really collecting when I started working from home, which was I think 2019. It was before the pandemic, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, stuff was kind of affordable back then. I know for sure GameCube was definitely way more affordable. Like I
Oh yeah.
remember going to a garage sale somewhere in Des Moines or West Des Moines, and I got Pokemon Coliseum for 25 bucks, which you absolutely can't now.
No.
Holy fuck,
I
Pokemon
got
Coliseum,
I
shot
got
of the
mine in a
price.
fucking GameStop bargain bin for like $5 way back in the day. Like just fucking the mental like Gale of Darkness too. That's another one that's like ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Lugia, I guess, is maybe I guess why people want that one so fucking much, but I don't know. I love the stupid dumb dirt bike thing in Coliseum. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry to get so off topic.
No,
Yeah, it's
no,
crazy.
that's the point of this series, honestly. That being said, though, kind of playing off of that, what was one of the craziest stories you've ever had collecting?
Craziest stories.
So I guess like to preface it, like I'll give the example I usually give. For me, my craziest collecting story was probably I have a few of them. The one I always go to is like how I got my GameCube. So the GameCube I had gotten was actually a GameStop one that was being their claim was it was defective and they were throwing it away. Like they couldn't get power to it at all and they were going to toss it out. So I
What the
had done
fuck?
yeah. I had done like this. So this was 2010. So GameCube stuff was like this was GameStop was just trying to get rid of the shit. Like they didn't want it anymore. Um I basically like talked to the guy there and I was like, can we just step outside the store and I'll give you $5 for this damn thing? Like I didn't believe them. I was like, there's no way this thing doesn't work because it looked pristine. So I straight up I bought the GameCube from the GameStop for $5, and then I spent $60 on Melee because Melee was still $60
Yep,
because
it's
fuck
always gonna
Nintendo.
be. God damn.
Um, and then I go home, I plug it in, hit the power button, GameCube intro starts right up. It's perfectly fine.
Of course, dude.
To this day, I have no idea. Like either they didn't try, or I don't mean to shit on GameStop employees, but like sometimes I'm always like what the hell? Like maybe they didn't have the wire in all the way, or just I don't know. But yeah,
Well, maybe, man. So I guess yeah, I do have a good one. Okay. So when I bought my Wii U, the only one I've ever owned, I bought it from there was this retro gaming convention in the I forget which mall here in Des Moines, and there's this kind of big-ish YouTube channel called Gaming Off the Grid.
mm,
The dudes live here in Des Moines, and I met them, bought the Wii U and a bunch of games off of them. They were really cool. Shout out to Gaming Off the Grid. Um, so I took the Wii U home, got it all set up, but so like for the most part, it worked. Like the games worked, like it played games just fine. But if you try to access the shop or like do anything online, basically it was banned. Oh, what was it? It was banned, I think, for like trying to spoof the eShop or something like that. Basically, there was an account on the Wii U that was banned from the eShop for something or other, and I couldn't figure out why, and I kept trying to call the Nintendo customer service to try to figure out what the fuck is going on, or like to get the account or the block lifted. But you have to have the account owner's information, like their password or whatever, to get the account taken off. And I was like, fuck, I bought this secondhand at a fucking mall. So I ended up so I didn't know at all how to contact these guys from Gaming Off the Grid. And so I messaged I forget his name, one of the dudes, I messaged him on Facebook Messenger and I was like, dude, can you help me with this Wii U? He never answered. So over the course of like 7 days, I'm just constantly messaging this guy, looking and sounding like a fucking frantic lunatic. Just like, dude, please, if you can help me out at all, like, dude, please, I paid $100 for this thing and it doesn't work. Please, fucking please, just help me. And then finally, I went to their YouTube channel, found their email address, and emailed them. And then like within 2 hours, they were like, "Yeah, dude, just come meet me at like Bass Pro Shop and we can swap it out." And I was like, "Oh, thank you, fucking god!" Like, sorry for bugging the other guy so much. I don't mean to sound like a frantic maniac dickhead, but like, he was like, "No, I get it, man. It's all right." Yeah. So shout out to them. Shout out to Gaming Off the Grid. They're pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny sometimes, like when you buy these consoles secondhand, like some of the surprises you get. Like this is another one I love telling because it's another classic GameStop like employees just being apathetic and not caring. You know how when like they get in a used like handheld, they're supposed to wipe it clean of all the software on it and
Yep.
other things.
Yep. The
So
P word.
I bought my so I have like 5 3DSs just chilling because that just it happens with
Mod 'em.
Nintendo handhelds.
Mod them fuckers.
So I have the original 3DS and it's too small and clunky and I'm not a fan of that design. So I wanted the XL because it's just better in every way. And they were selling them for like they were pretty cheap still at GameStop. I think I paid like $120 for it, a used
Oh
one.
yeah, dirt cheap. Yeah.
So they gave it to me and they were like, "Oh, it's only been used once. Don't worry, it's wiped clean. Like everything's fine." And I'm like, "All right, thanks
Uh-huh.
for sharing me." I'm like, "Yeah, that's standard practice. Thanks for telling me." And I get home and I start it up and there's icons on the screen and I'm like, I don't think this thing was wiped. And then I
Yep.
open up the side hatch and there's an SD card in there, and I'm like, hmm. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. I go into photos and I was like, oh no.
Ooh, yeah. That's where you
Um,
found the good stuff.
I was like, I have no idea. I deleted that shit immediately because I have no idea. I don't want to know.
Yep, yep,
And
yep,
I
yep.
was like,
Better safe than sorry, dude.
gone. And then I looked through like the browsing history and I was like, I'm like, this guy was a fucking psycho. Um, but immediately like I basically I wiped the 3DS myself because GameStop couldn't be bothered to do it. And I was like, I'm just sitting here thinking like, wow, like I'm like, who does this on a 3DS? Like of all things.
Yeah, with the fucking screen being like 120 pixels.
But then also
Much
that
better options.
but the best part is after I do that, I'm like sitting there with it and it hits me. I'm like, I look down and I immediately just go, run to the bathroom, wash my hands, and then I fucking fucking like sanitize that fucking thing for like a day because I was like, where the fuck is this thing been?
Dude, yeah, there's probably so much dried semen underneath like all the cracks in the
Oof.
touch screen.
I did
Or
not want to think about it because I was immediately because the realization hit me. I was like, oh no. So I just fucking
Shit.
bathroom like fucking steel wool on the hands because God knows.
I guess that would be the perfect machine to do it on though, because it's like a laptop. You just put it down, put the screen up, and
Yeah,
then
I
just go to
guess.
town. But yeah, so I have one kind of like that too. So I bought a PSP off of someone on the Facebook Marketplace. Shout out to Facebook Marketplace, I guess. Um, so I bought a PSP and I came with a couple games. I think like it was Sonic. No, it wasn't Sonic Unleashed. It was Sonic something.
Sonic Rivals, I think.
Yes, Sonic Rivals, Need for Speed, and one other game that I forget. Anyway, so yeah, I get home. I'm looking through the looking through the browser history.
Ooh.
Um, I think I think I was just like looking through and like clearing shit out, just making sure everything is like good to go. But yeah, I was looking through the browser history, and yeah, dude, a lot of dude was on Pornhub like all the time
It
on his
was
PSP.
always it was always the PSPs, I
Yep.
swear.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
it was like that was like most teenagers' first like internet browser because that was before like the
That's
iPhones were
true.
standard.
That's true. Yeah, it was before smartphones. Well, before like good smartphones and before like not everybody had a laptop. So yeah, I get it. I guess I get it.
3DS though, that was way beyond that now. I was like,
Yeah, people definitely had a fucking smartphone by the time the 3DS was out, man. That's it. That's nuts.
yeah. Oh, and on that note, moving away from this subject,
Moving
uh,
on to pivot off of crusty semen 3DSs. 3D semen. No, never mind. That wasn't that. No, go on. That
to
was a bad
pivot from the pivot from the true degeneracy of gamers, uh, what would you say is your biggest collecting score?
Ooh. All right. The first one that comes to mind is Yokai Watch 3 because that one, the US version, because I guess you can get the Japanese versions for fucking pennies, but because they were sold like hotcakes. But the US version of Yokai Watch 3, I think it was like one of the last releases for one of the last physical releases for the 3DS.
Mhm.
And I pre-ordered it on Amazon because I love Yokai Watch. And like maybe a year after I bought it, it skyrocketed to like $150, and I was like, "Holy shit!" But yeah, now a complete in box copy goes for like $300 or something,
Yeah.
and I'll never sell it. Never.
It's similar to like Professor Layton versus Phoenix, right? Like that was a game that like
That
nobody bought, and now it's fucking like $200.
that and the Azran Legacy one, man.
Mm.
Like all of the other professor, holy shit, Professor Late, all the other Professor Laytons. Yeah, with the exception of versus Phoenix, right? All the other ones are totally fairly priced. Even like the other 3DS one,
Mystery Mask or
Mystery
Miracle
Mask,
Mask.
Yeah, whatever the mask one is. All of those totally fairly priced. But then you get to Azran Legacy and it's like $200. So it's
Mm.
like, well, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah, I'm glad I picked that up on the back when it was like back when GameStop actually had 3DS games worth a damn.
Yeah, dude. Another one would be Dragon Quest V on DS. I bought that on Amazon back when it was $20, and then after that fucking Netflix movie came out, it shot up in price. So fucking dodged a bullet there, thank God.
Mm. I got lucky with my copy of 5. I found it. But remember back in the day where like after GameStop stopped carrying DS games, but you'd occasionally find them in like the little uh, glass cases.
Oh yeah, like right at the like right where the registers and shit are. Yep.
Occasionally they just have like complete games in there, and I they had a 5 in there, and it was like they wanted like 30 for it, and I was like, oh, that's fine. 30 is
Yeah,
okay.
that's totally fine. That's much better than the fucking 400 it goes for now.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
I think for me, like the two best scores I've ever had. The one that I find funny that I always like to tell is my copy of Knuckles Chaotix. I have a boxed like 32X copy. I found that at a yard sale. It was in a pile of VHS tapes, just chilling. I remember walking by. I looked over and I just see a 30. I see the 32X logo, and I didn't even notice what game it was. But my head immediately turns and goes. I'm like, 32X. Like I was like, what the hell? And
yeah, we could be onto something.
I saw Knuckles Chaotix, and I just went, holy shit, that is like one of the rarest 32X games ever. And I didn't even own a 32X at this time. I just
Fuck it.
I saw it there, and I looked at the lady running it, and I just asked her, I'm like, how much for this? She looked at it for 5 seconds. She's like, $5, and I was like, thank you. It's it's not a pristine copy. Like the box is slightly torn and it's a little beaten and worn, but like it's still the complete in case like Knuckles Chaotix, and that was a huge one. And I remember seeing how much
Great
that was
fucking
worth later on, and I was like, holy shit.
Where's my phone? How much is it worth now? I want to take a look. I'm gonna look it up.
It's definitely in triple digits. I'm not
Oh
sure.
no! Oh shit! Come on,
Uh,
come on, stupid phone. Okay,
220
chaotix.
227 according to Game Eye.
Oh god, yep.
My other big score, this one was more. This one actually I think is probably the bigger score just in hindsight. Um,
Oops.
so everybody knows my favorite game ever, Persona 4 Golden.
Yep,
Um,
that one's also up there.
when I first played Persona 4 Golden, I had gotten into I went on like a Persona binge where I had to play all the games. And this was during the time where, well, it kind of, yeah, it was during the time where like 2 and 1 especially were harder to find, but they weren't like it wasn't so much they were harder to find because they were like super valuable. It was more that they were just like no one knew about them and they were obscure. So I found a listing of it on Amazon, and this was like Amazon back in the day where they rarely ever showed pictures. The descriptions were incredibly vague,
Yep.
and you kind of just had to take a chance. And I was, so this was 2012, so I was still in high school at the time. barely any money, and I just like was like, fuck it, it's Persona 2. If it's disc only, I just want to play it. I paid $20. It shows up in the mail a week later.
Damn it.
Pristine, mint, manual, bonus disc, everything. And I was like, oh, cool, PS2 game. And at the time, I didn't think about
Oh my
it.
god.
I just put it on my shelf and played it and enjoyed it. Now I find out it's a $400 game. Like,
That's fucking wild, man. Also, I just looked and Yokai Watch 3 is $350.
oh, that's tragic.
What? So, another one that also really shot the fuck up for like no reason was Xenogears. I bought
Yep.
that, I'm pretty sure back in like maybe 2019 for $60, and that shot up to like 170 for like no reason. I don't get it,
Yeah.
man.
Most the PS2 has been going through a big or PS1 especially, PS2 have been going through spikes lately. It's unfortunate. That being said, though, so now we're going to take that question and kind of go the opposite direction.
Okay.
What would you say was your biggest game collecting fail?
Collecting fail.
So if you want like an
Hmm.
example, this is the one I like to use as a little prop in the background. I always bring this up. I have this copy of Ken Saden here. This is actually a copy of some football game.
Oh, what the fuck?
It's a bamboozle copy. I got someone to swap the shell out and they took a Ken Saden shell and stuck it over some baseball game. So I got ripped off. That's not my biggest fail, but that's just kind of an example.
Hmm. Man, I can't. Nothing. Nothing really comes to mind. We got. Hmm. I guess maybe paying too much for games. Like I paid $100 for Lunar Silver Star Story Complete on PSP. Paid flat out $100 because I overbid on an auction. I think I paid like 130 for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on GameCube, which I definitely didn't need to because they fucking remade it.
Yeah, I know. uh,
um,
I
that's
think
pretty much
one.
it.
I think one for me, like in that kind of like context, is like ironically a game I'm blogging about right now, Fire Emblem Path to Radiance. I had bought my copy initially right after the Awakening boom,
Yeah.
and by that point, every Fire Emblem had skyrocketed. I paid $200 for my copy.
Oh shit.
A year later, it dropped down to like 99.
Fuck.
But
God damn it.
in hindsight, it's back up to 200 now. So I kind of broke even, but at the same time, there was a brief period where I saw it. I saw multiple copies for like $99, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Oh my god. Yeah. So on that same route, I I could have bought, what's the name of the game? Yeah, I could have bought Infinite Space for the DS. I'm a big 3DS and DS guy. I could have bought Infinite Space for $50 at one point. And I didn't pull the trigger for whatever reason, and now it's 110 complete in box. So fuck me. That
Oh,
sucks.
I got one of those too. I passed up on a copy of Chibi Robot for $40. No, it wasn't 40. It was $60 at a flea market. Um,
Oh god damn.
I want. So the thing is, I wanted what game did I buy instead? Damn, I can't even remember what game I bought instead. It was something. I bought Shining in the Holy Ark instead, which I think is actually cheaper now, ironically, than what Chibi Robo goes for. But
Oh,
I've always
okay.
kind of kicked myself for not picking up Chibi Robo at the time because that is another like that's like
Yeah,
$300 now.
that's a fucking huge one. Yeah. What else
Uh,
did I?
you want to know a reversal that's kind of driving me insane right now?
Yeah.
So I paid like $130 for Contact on the DS. It's like $40 now. I'm like,
Yeah, I paid like 30 for mine for
it dropped, like that one dropped like a rock. They must have
Mm.
found some like copies in like a storage or something.
Um, I had another one. What was it? There were a few more. Chris and I, a novel console Chris, shout out to him. We talk about 3DS games all the time. Um, I think it was Avalon Code for DS. I kept seeing a couple copies of that for like maybe like $30 here and there on there's this dumb fucking app called Mercari. It's
Mhm.
like knockoff eBay pretty much. I had a chance to buy a complete copy of Avalon Code for $40, but I didn't. And that game usually goes for like 80 or 90.
Yeah. So many DS RPGs are like stupid that like that now. Like
I know,
The
dude.
two Azuna games are like stupidly expensive now.
Yeah, there's a bunch that are just sitting on my wish list on Game Eye that like the Blue Dragon games, I'm not paying I'm not paying above $100 for those, bro.
I
That's
only
that's
have
messed up.
I only have the first one. I don't have the second one. That's like a tactical game.
Yeah, that's the one I want is the tactics one. God damn it.
So, I guess to move on from that, this actually kind of ties into the next question. Have you ever had a moment when you were collecting where you found something that you did not have the money for, but you were compelled to like get it because you couldn't pass it up?
Hmm. I think so. So I think it was. I've got a couple actually. So yeah, the garage sale I mentioned earlier, where I got Pokemon and all those. It was this gigantic garage sale with just like a bunch of video games. It was this total nerd guy, total nerd like gamer dude. Really loved baseball. He was selling just a shit ton of video games. And there was a Dreamcast that came with like two controller, like a whole bundle, like Dreamcast bundle with just a bunch of games, controller. I don't think it came with the VMU though, but those are super fucking dirt cheap on eBay. And then there was like a GameCube bundle that came with like a few games as well too. And I was like, okay, this is like $200. Like we could just go cheap on groceries this week. Like should I do it? I pulled the trigger. Just fucking did it. $200. Yeah, I got a GameCube, Dreamcast, a bunch of games and shit. Fuck it. Yeah, did it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have those deals that you can't pass up. Like for me, the one that I've had a bunch of them over the years, but like the one that like I always have to bring up is my copy of Popful Mail for the Sega CD.
Ooh, yep,
Um
that's a rare one.
I remember, so ironically it's I found it at a retro store. Like it's actually the one of the local retro stores I go to now. But at the time I was still living back at my hometown, and Alex was living up where we live currently now, and I was visiting her for the weekend, and we were going to go retro hunting. And I remember because like the first store we hit up was this one particular store, and I looked around. They had some decent stuff, but a lot of it was kind of like generic, like kind of just the typical like slop you'll see at most retro stores.
Typical slop, yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly the kind of games I'm talking about.
The fucking Maddens, the Blitzes, the all the licensed games no one gives a shit
Yeah,
about.
all the PS2 games that are super common because like PS2 games were printed to hell and back. But they had a glass case, of course, that had all the rare stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm kind of glancing around. I see a bunch of stuff that I already had, but then I look down and I saw a Sega CD game kind of shoved in the back, and I'm like trying to see what it is. So I asked them to like if they could show me the game, and they pull it out. It's Popful Mail, and I was like, oh, that's like one of the working designs games I don't have and I need. And I'm looking at the thing, and I'm like, because they didn't have a price on it, because they they were kind of like they were kind of hoping no one bought it, probably because they wanted it to get it themselves. But I'm looking at this thing, and it's pristine. Like the manual is beautiful. Like the disc is like untouched. It has the styrofoam block still in it. Case has no cracks at all. And
That's
I
surprising.
I asked them, I'm like, how much is it going for? And they were like, 250. Now that sounds like a lot, but for Popful Mail, that is a steal
I gotta
these
look this
days.
up. I gotta
Popful
look
Mail
this up.
has gone up quite a bit. in the years.
Ooh, 500
Yeah.
complete.
So it was like $200. It was like
God damn.
I think I talked them down to like 200 even, and that was at the time that was literally all the collecting money I had brought for the trip. Literally, I was like, this was gonna just wipe out my entire funds. Um, so I'm like sitting there going like, do I like move around money on like my credit card and I make this work because like I don't want to completely screw the weekend, but like I can't pass this up. This is like I'll never see this again. So I pulled the trigger and bought it. And the worst part too is because I was visiting Alex, like I didn't have my Sega CD like ready and available, so I couldn't even test it. So I had to wait like the rest of the trip until I got back home where I could test it to make sure it worked.
Fuck.
Thank Thankfully it did. And
That's good.
it was it was definitely a must buy purchase. I think the only other kind of game like that I had recently was when I was at a convention last month or 2 months ago. I had found a copy of Stella Glow for like $70, and Stella Glow is like one of like the three 3DS RPGs I've been kind of hunting for, and I was like, I need this one, so I just charged it on my credit card, and I was like, yeah, I'll worry about it later.
Holy shit. I didn't realize Stella Glow was that much now. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
There's I guess maybe this goes to the previous question, but there's a bunch of games for the 3DS that I bought digital that I wish I'd bought physical instead, like Fire Emblem Awakening,
Mhm.
fucking Stella Glow, Virtue's Last Reward, one of those Zero Escape games. There's a bunch that I bought digital that I wish I owned the physical copies for, but I didn't because I'm stupid.
There's
Big
one that
idiot.
I bought digital that I regret not getting the physical of. It's that Lords of Manga game. That's really stupid, but like
Oh, yep.
the uh the physical for that is stupidly expensive now, and I regret not because I bought it digital because it was on sale.
It's got cool cover art though.
No, it's actually not a bad game. It's just it's one of the there's so many games like that on 3DS where like you look at them, you just go, this is certainly a game.
What the fuck? Why can't I find it, dude? Lore is it Lords of Magna?
I think it's like Lords of Manga or something like that.
I'm gonna find it, god damn it. There we go. Lord of Magna. It's anime
Yeah,
as shit. There you go, video viewers. Wait,
yeah.
yeah, there we go. Boom.
I wish I grabbed that when I had the chance, but alas, I have it digital.
Yep. Yep. I'll never own a physical copy of Awaken. Well, maybe not. How much does Awakening go for now?
Awakening's not the worst. I think it's pretty affordable. It's just kind of finding a copy that's tough. Like last I
Yep.
checked, yeah, it's not even in my like the top like oh like Shin Megami Tensei 4 is more valuable than it apparently.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, it's like 29. Yeah, Awakening's not bad.
Tw- $29. Okay. I might just double dip. I might just have to. If it's only $29, might as fucking well, man.
Yeah, I mean you might have to pay a bit more on eBay pricing, but I mean it's definitely not one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
So I guess moving on now to the next question. What's so this one's kind of the opposite of that. What's the one game you let get away? Or I think we actually just kind of answered this.
I think we did. I think for sure Infinite Space. Let me I'm looking at sorry if I'm looking at my phone way too much, but I gotta check Game Eye because there's a bunch that I have on my wish list that I've passed up. For sure Infinite Space because it's $110 now and I could have bought it for fucking 60. Um
The one for me that kills me is I had a chance to get Magic Knight Ray Earth on the Saturn for I think it was like $300 at one point. And at the time I thought that was ridiculous, but I nowadays I kind of regret it because that game's like almost like 700 now, I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Saturn games that suck. Like they really do.
That's that's fucking insane. Oh, the other is the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner the Raido Kuzunoa games.
Oh,
Those
okay.
are fucking stupid expensive now, and I could have bought the 2 games together on eBay for, like, I think $60 for both. But yeah, now I think it's number 2 that's like $120, or if it's the first game, I forget, but
Yeah, unfortunately, they've just got the Atlas tax, I like to call it.
yeah, man. There was there was a while there where, it was Devil's Summoner Soul Hackers on the, 3DS. That one was worth a lot for a
Mhm.
while. I think I paid $60 for it at one point, and then it went up to like 130 for a while, and I was like, "Yes, yes, keep climbing!" I'm looking to. I'm not really not looking to sell it. It's
Yeah,
just fun to watch the prices go up, and then it just plummeted back to 60. So
I
fuck.
got I got that at a GameStop bargain bin for $13 years ago, which is
That's insane. Yeah,
what's hilarious is too is that that's just a port of a Saturn game. Like
and it's fucking awesome too.
it is, it is a great game, and I love its sequel, even though no one else seemed to for whatever reason.
Other people were just they were stuck on the whole like this is like Persona, but it's not Persona. I don't know. People that's what I see a lot of, like, especially on the Xbox store where people can leave reviews on the little cards. It's always like, "This is like Persona, but it's not," and I don't like that.
I
But
wonder what they're gonna say for Metaphor when that comes out.
oh my god.
That's
Oh,
like
I
one of the
forgot
few
about that.
games. That's like one of the few games I actually want to play.
It looks fucking awesome. It's like everything I've ever wanted in an RP.
Mm.
It's it's got that mix of, like, main series Shin Megami Tensei and, like, a little bit of Persona with how, like, the menus are all, like,
Oh yeah,
stylistically made. Yeah.
and that Shoji Megoro's doing the soundtrack, and the Persona artist
Yes.
is doing the art.
Yes.
It's like just inject it into my veins, please.
Yes,
Um,
please. Here's my 70. Take my
so
$70.
this one I kind of this is a joke question that I mostly added because it happened to me, and I brought it up earlier. But have you ever been bamboozled with a cartridge?
I don't think so, man. I think, I guess maybe I have a copy of maybe it's not Bamboozle, but I have an SNES game that doesn't work. I think my brother-in-law gave me a bunch of, Super Nintendo games, and I forget which one it is, but it doesn't work. I was like, "Oh, this is cool. This one is I think it's pretty rare. I think it's worth a lot, but it doesn't work."
Yeah, the only time I ever got bamboozled was with that Master System game, which thankfully isn't the worst thing that could have happened. Um, I've gotten bootlegs before that were listed as real. That always
That's
sucks.
bullshit.
That's why I hate buying cartridges online nowadays because you just don't know. But yeah, I threw that question in there just because it's funny to me, and sometimes you do get sometimes it does happen to other people. But moving on from that, um, what is your favorite out there collecting habit? So like to preface this one, like for me, like I have my obsession with buying every version of Clax, or I,
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to collect every NASCAR game, like just like kind of weird, goofy stuff like that.
Um, well, I guess for a little while there, I was trying to collect all the Dragon Quest games. I got uh, every single one on the DS. So 4, 5, 6, and 9. I got the 2 on the 3DS, 7 and 8. But then, of course, 10's only in Japan, so fuck that. 1, 2, and 3 are, I mean, you can get the digital ones on Switch. And I've got 11 and 12's coming out. So yeah, we got that. I think I also tried to get every Professor Layton game, but yeah, Azran Legacy could suck my ass because that's stupid expensive now. I said fuck you to Miracle Mask, and
Mhm.
then the one with his daughter, I was like, nope. So I guess that doesn't count. What else have I done? I buy pretty much any like Shin Megami Tensei game I come across. Like I've got Nocturne, 4, 4 Apocalypse. I've got 5, 5 Vengeance. I've got what is it? I've got a bunch of the spin-offs like Devil Survivor 1 and 2,
Mhm.
Soul Hackers. I love Shin Megami Tensei. I've got like a bunch of personas also. Well, I say a bunch, but it's just 3 and 4. But yeah.
I think like for me, another a weird habit I have is like I have a tendency to buy I buy a lot of import like complete in box games, and I strictly buy them just so I can use them as artwork.
That's good though, man. The fucking especially in the 90s, all the Japanese versions of games had the best cover art.
Mhm.
Like the Super Famicom versions of like Mega Man and stuff. Those had like much much better cover art than we got in the US.
Like the one I have a copy of I've got a Japanese copy of Final Fantasy VI, and I have it just kind of on a shelf because I love that artwork, and I love the Final Fantasy III artwork that we got over here as well, but like the purple background with the Moogle. But just that the Yoshitaka Amano art of like Terra on the mech armor, like
Yep,
just with that cityscape in the background, is just so fucking amazing.
it is.
Or even like a more simplistic one, like the Mother 2 box art
Oh, where it's just like red in the background and then it's got like the
with
little
the
earth with the O.
yeah, and it's like the horizontal style. It's a striking box.
I think I don't think I own any. No, I've got a couple Japanese copies of games. What else have I done? Um, I think I also tried to get every Mario and Luigi game on like DS and 3DS, but not partners in time because it was really expensive at the time. And then now I just I just don't care about partners in time enough to buy it.
I mean, it's pretty cheap now because like no one cares about it. At
Um,
least last I checked, it was.
I think that's pretty much it. Like I know there were quite a few games that I was pre-ordering for the 3DS just for the sake of having them for the 3DS because it's just like, well, I mean, these games are probably going to shoot up in price, so I might as well own them now. Like that kind of mentality, basically FOMO. Um,
Hmm.
I've FOMO'd a lot of pre-orders because I don't do that anymore though. But I think that is it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think the only other weird collecting thing I do is like my I have this weird like kind of just obsession with buying PlayStation 1 racing games because there's hundreds of them. Like I swear to God. Um my favorite one I found was this game called ATV Racer. Um it's I saw it at first and I thought it was like kind of like an ATV off-road fury thing. But if you look up the cover to ATV Racer PS1, it is literally furry animals on ATVs.
Oh, that's awesome!
I was like, "Oh, it's Furry Racer." Okay.
Hell yeah!
Um, it's a shitty game too, which makes it even better.
Sweet.
So the next question, this one's a bit interesting. What would you say is like the oddball game in your collection? Like the game that you just kind of like it just sticks out like a sore thumb that you own.
Ooh, okay. So the games I collect because I want to play them because like I do look forward to playing them and eventually do. But I have this totally sealed brand new copy of Legend of Zelda. I think no, a Phantom Hourglass. Sealed copy of Phantom Hourglass still in the cellophane. Never opened it. It's just sitting on my DS shelf, brand spanking new. I keep thinking, oh, maybe I should get to it. Maybe I should play it, or maybe I should just sell it if I'm not going to play it. And then I forget about it. It just continues to sit there. And, yeah.
I've got a few like random games. Like I have this one ColecoVision like game of like Smurfs because it came with a lot of like
Smurfs.
2600 games. It was just kind of stuck in there.
Of course, the
Um
goddamn Smurfs.
I have like I have that stupid Fallout like nuke like special edition thing.
Oh yeah. Yep, my friends have that. My friend Jared has that.
It's stupidly expensive now, but I got it back when like GameStop had like hundreds of them and they were just trying to get rid of them. So I
Really,
think
it's they're
uh
worth a lot now.
I mean not like stupidly expensive, but like they're a decent chunk for something that's kind of a novelty item at most.
That's
Um
awesome.
let's see real quick. Fallout. It's like $100 for the nuke. So
That's still pretty good.
um I also have a complete mint copy of Lester the Unlikely. I saw it at a store and I was like, fuck it, why not?
I think. Oh, there's got to be something else. What else do I have? I think. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess I do have like a bunch of like random Tengen NES games that I just
Hmm.
that are my wife's that she got with her NES like a long ass time ago. I've got a bunch of those downstairs.
I mean, that's not bad. Like some of those are. I mean, the Tengen games are actually pretty good. When you have like the wisdom tree games, that's when it gets fun.
Or like, oh no, that's not a Tengen one. Never mind. I was gonna say Three Stooges for the NES, but that's not a Tengen one. Never mind.
Um, so this question's a bit more personal. What advice would you give to a new collector aspiring to get into the hobby?
I guess don't let FOMO get to you. Like FOMO got me a lot, had me wasting a lot of money on games that I didn't really want. But yeah, buy the games that I guess yeah you want to play, unless you are the type of person that wants to own every single game for a certain system. But also yeah, budget yourself,
Yeah,
please set a budget.
one of my biggest pieces of well, I used to always joke saying my advice to new collectors trying to get in the hobby was don't. But
Yeah,
when I try to be serious about it, I always tell people like my biggest like advice I like to give people nowadays is like don't base your entire collection off of like your favorite internet personalities tastes because that's just not a great way to collect because in reality just because it's what they say they like to collect it doesn't mean that's what you're going to enjoy and a lot of the times it ends up being really expensive.
yep, yep, that's fucking true, man. I
Like
think go ahead.
I was going to say like just because everyone online says Nintendo is the best doesn't mean you have to be a Nintendo collector. If you're not a Nintendo guy, you don't have to pay that money for Nintendo stuff.
That's true, man. I was gonna say my whole collection started off with me going from I bounced from Pokemon to Dragon Quest to other RPGs, and then I essentially acquired this gigantic, ever evolving, consuming mass of RPGs on the DS and 3DS. So yeah, find some games that interest you for a system or systems, and then just kind of branch from there. But also, yes, please set a fucking budget. Don't bankrupt
Mm,
yourself trying to buy like every single game that you want to own. Like you don't need to buy Earthbound. Don't try to
no.
buy Earthbound.
You don't need to buy all of the most expensive games available for clout. Like you can go to like the bargain shelf and look through the PS2 section. There are so many amazing games there that are like worth nothing. Like get
Yeah.
into original Xbox collecting. No one cares about original Xbox and there's so many great games over there.
Yeah, dude. Or even maybe collect for newer systems like the Xbox One or I mean 360 games aren't terrible still. Like a lot of them are still like 15 bucks and there's a lot of awesome games there.
Unless you want
Same
to get Bullet Witch for some reason.
Yeah, what the fuck happened with that? That makes no sense. I bought that for $5 fucking
I mean,
dollars.
that game is fucking a poor man's Bayonetta and it
Yep,
sucks.
it's terrible.
Uh I mean, it's not as amazing. Like that game is very jank, and it's up there with like say like Earth Defense Force on 360. But Earth Defense Force is my favorite dumpster fire series.
Dude, yeah, those games are actually they can be kind of fucking fun. Bullet Witch, on the other hand, is not.
Yeah,
It's I remember catching that. It was I think it was cheap. Yeah, so on G4, children back in the day, there was this TV on cable or not this cable TV channel called G4. It was all video games, all tech shit. And they had this show called Cheats or Cheat, I forget. Then they showed like cheat codes and like hints and tips and tricks for games, and they showed Bullet Witch, and they were showing how to be this one boss and as a dumb kid, I was like, "Boy, this game looks cool. I want to buy this game." But now that I have it and I've played like an hour of it, I would much rather get that fucking hour refunded.
yeah. It's actually kind of funny you bring up G4 because I was thinking I'm like kids might remember the attempted revival like
Maybe.
that lasted for like a year.
I miss when G4 was just cops all the time, man. Good, those were
Oh
the
yeah,
good
after
days.
after they gave up on the gaming stuff, like
Yep.
my favorite G4 show was definitely Icons. Like I fucking loved Icons.
I remember watching Attack of the Show a lot because they would show off, or was it Attack of the Show? They would show like game trailers of like or trailers of new and upcoming games. And I remember seeing there's one for Enchanted Arms that looked really cool, and one for something on PS3. I forget, but
Hmm.
Attack of the Show was pretty cool.
I remember that. I remember X Play. I mean, I think everybody watched X Play.
Yeah, yep. X Play was huge.
Who was the female host? I forget her name.
Morgan Webb.
I remember her because like as a child, like you'd see pretty girl on screen, and that's just all you care about.
Yeah, it's like, oh, a pretty girl like video game. I like video game. Pretty
Yeah,
girl might like me.
yeah, that was back before it became accepted. It was like general, just like accepted that everyone likes video games.
Yeah, man. What the fuck ever happened to that? I remember as a kid, or like as a teenager, even I would be like, oh yeah, I like Pokemon. I like Yu-Gi-Oh, and I play video games. People are like, shut up, nerd. But now
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, cool, bro. Let me high five you and hug you and fucking jerk you off in the shower or something. I like that stuff too.
Well, it's like the old saying how like everybody watched anime back in the day, just no one would admit it.
That's fucking true, man. Like
So,
everybody watched like Samurai Champloo back in the day.
oh yeah, everyone watched Dragon Ball. Everyone
Yep.
had their anime they watched.
Oh hell yeah.
So I have one more question for this list of this list I compiled, and this one is always fascinating because I always get a different answer. But what is the one game that will never be in your collection?
Oh, Panzer Dragoon Saga. I'm never gonna
Okay,
own that game. I feel
okay,
like I feel like it's always gonna be in this state of perpetual I don't know, expensiveness. I don't know what the fuck the word would be for it, but it's too fucking expensive. The price of this game is too damn high. It's
yep,
always $1,300, and I'm not gonna shell out $1,300 for a single game. That is ins fucking sane.
yeah. I paid when I got my copy. It was $500. It's double that now.
Yeah, that's still a lot. Holy shit.
So
That that and I was just looking at it. One sec, let me find it again. Oh man. That and oh yeah, the whole dot hack series. I really want to own that series, but it's like one or two parts that are each like 300 and like 150 and oh that's
so the first three parts aren't terrible. It's quarantine that's the one that's ridiculous.
god damn it.
Which is
Super
annoying too, because the GU the dot hack GU series got that awesome re-release on PS4,
Yeah,
but
what
like
the fuck?
the original series got nothing. I'll never understand it because it's because Bamco hates us. I swear.
Fucking that and Xeno Saga, which I mean I guess that's kind of difficult because those were also weren't those also
That's also
developed
Bamco.
Famco, okay.
Well, technically, Monolith Soft made them, but not Monolith Soft is owned by Nintendo now,
Yeah.
and Bamco is Bamco, and they suck. So,
I also want Shadow Hearts at least 1 and 2 on modern consoles. Anyway, uh yes, your answer to the question, please.
so you actually went in. What's funny about this question is the answers are always different.
Oh,
And
and
people,
Earthbound. And Earthbound. Sorry, go ahead.
so you went with more of the realistic approach to this question. For me, I go with the more comical approach, and I always say the one game that will never be in my collection is the Guy game because I
Why is
refuse
that?
because I
Oh.
refuse to own that piece of shit. It's also technically illegal, but
What? That was on Xbox, right? The guy
PS2
game.
and Xbox. You know the story behind it, right?
I think. I mean, I know that it was like, wasn't it banned or something? Because it was
So
like underage girls or something. Or
one of the girls was 17. That was
oh,
yeah, that was the
oh
thing that
no.
um that game though to me is fascinating mostly because the guy that created it You can literally link the Guy game to Metroid fucking Prime.
What? How? What?
So the guy. So this is a really bizarre storyline. Matt McMuscle's a great YouTuber. He had a whole video on this game, and he explained the story there. He does it much better than me, but for the simple explanation, the founder of Top Heavy Studios, the studio that made the Guy game, was a man named Jeff Spangenberg. And Jeff Spangenberg, his history in gaming is actually really interesting. He started out over at Acclaim, and he was the founder of Iguana Entertainment, and he made
Oh shit.
Astro or Acro the Acrobat or whatever, like Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel, and a little known series that everyone forgot about called like Turok. You've probably heard of it. Um,
Yep.
then he leaves Acclaim, and he basically makes a deal with Nintendo and starts a little known company called Retro Studios.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Retro Studios was interesting because, like, when they first started, they kind of had no fucking idea what they were doing, and they were making like 5 different games, and all of them were kind of lost. Um, so then Nintendo shows up, and they kind of give them the Metroid IP, and they're like, "Try this." And then it goes on for a while, and then Miyamoto shows up, and they find out Mr. Spangenberg had been making softcore porn videos on the company computers that Nintendo funded, by the way. So Nintendo was kind of like, no. So of course, because he owned the company, they couldn't really fire him, but they instead basically paid him to fuck off, and they bought the company from him, gave him all this money, and basically just told him go away, like get
That's
lost.
oh my god.
He then proceeded to use said money to form Top Heavy Studios and made the Guy game.
Wow, that's I mean, I guess yeah, he wanted to make nasty shit, so he went on to make nasty shit. Good for him,
Yeah.
man.
And he's disappeared since then. I have no idea what happened to him, but I always laugh. I'm like, that you can connect the Guy game to fucking Metroid Prime.
What the fuck? I never knew that. That's cool.
I
I
actually, whenever I go to conventions, I have a little game I like to do where I'll go booth by booth, and I'll try to find all the copies of the Guy game, not to buy, just to see how many of them are out there.
ugh.
And my favorite part is like I'll do like my count day one, and then I'll go day two, and I'll see some of them are gone, and I'll be like, somebody bought one.
I don't know why. Like, why would you want to? It like if you look at the back, I was looking at like the back cover on Game Eye, and like it doesn't even look fun. Maybe people want to own it because they're just like, oh, boobs. But
It's it's a really shitty trivia game, and it's
yep,
not even like that interesting. It's mostly known just because of the controversy around it. And that's a controversy I don't even want to associate with. So
yep, yep.
yeah. Yeah, that's always a fun one. Like I always remember because like I remember James when we did the first one of these, he dropped the bombshell where he said his game he'd never owned in his collection is Final Fantasy VI. And
Why?
I forget his reasoning. I'd have to go back and listen to the episode, but he had like this whole like it was like this really deep like 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 philosophical like reasoning, and I was like, okay, yes sir, whatever you say. Um, it was an interesting one to me because I was like, wow, that's not where I expected that question to go.
Yeah, yeah. Here I was, fucking simple Simon ass Aaron, going like too much money. Panzer Dragoon is too damn high.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Collecting though, like it's crazy how weird this hobby has gotten over the years.
Oh yeah.
Like GameStop's trying to do retro again, which I don't see working, but
I mean, maybe they'll be a little bit cheaper than mom and pop stores, but I guess at the same time, I don't want to put mom and pop stores out of business because those are some of the best places to go. Like you can at least strike a deal with some of those people, and I don't know. That's tough. I I haven't been collecting as much as I used to, mostly because the backlog is just too big. I'm trying to beat games now, and I think the last game I bought on eBay, I think it was Pikmin 3 Deluxe because I'm getting into Pikmin now.
hmm.
Um, that and DS and 3DS are just so expensive, man. Like I've gotten all the ones like that I can. get at a decent price. Now everything is just shooting up, and I'll have to pull the trigger on Fire Emblem Awakening though. Oh, that's another one. I was getting every Fire Emblem on 3DS, and I did that except for Awakening. So I guess I didn't do that.
Did I ever tell you my Vita story?
No, no, I don't think so.
So I'm surprised it didn't come up in this, but it's probably one of my most insane collecting things I've ever done. I call it the Vita road trip of like 20. What year did the Vita get discontinued?
I'm gonna
Um,
guess. I'm gonna guess. Tw- 20, 2015. No, 16. 2016.
let me check because I honestly. Oh no, 2019.
Whoa, holy shit, okay.
It lasted longer than I thought. Um, so I call this event in my collecting history the Vita road trip of 2019. So when the Vita got discontinued, GameStop essentially just like fire saled pretty much all their Vita stuff. Like they bargain bin priced it, just wanted to get rid of it. My stupid ass, I was living at home. Well, not stupid ass, but like just my fucking nut job self decided I was still living at home, didn't have bills to pay, like had an entire weekend, basically was doing nothing. I went on a day long road trip across Massachusetts to every GameStop I could find, um, and just cleaned out their Vita sections. So that's how I ended up getting my massive Vita collection. Was I just
Hell
fucking
yeah.
cleaned out these bargain bin like most of the games were like $5 to $10. Like GameStop was just trying to get rid of them, and I went fucking nuts. And I always remember, like, I think I paid more money in gas that day than I did on Vita games.
Dude, you probably did. I
Uh, it,
remember I remember one time where an old roommate and we were driving from GameStop to GameStop because oh, I think he was looking for a copy of Xenoblade Chronicles, like the original Xenoblade on Wii,
mm,
because I think it was only GameStop that sold it. It was a GameStop exclusive or something stupid.
yes,
Um,
yes, it was.
and yeah, we were just going from GameStop to GameStop to GameStop to try and find a copy. After like 5 stores, we ended up just like calling a bunch around us, and we found one. We called one that did say that they had it, and it was like 2 fucking hours away. So we drove a total of 4 hours, 2 hours up to go get it, 2 hours back. But he bought food, so it's all good.
Nice. Yeah, collecting is just a crazy hobby like that. Like, I'm so glad I got into it when I did because I it's such an unapproachable thing these days,
Yep.
unfortunately. Um, but that being said, thank you, Aaron, for joining me for this. I love doing these episodes, and it's always fun to get different creators like to like explain their history because the fun part about collecting is everybody's journey is different,
Oh yeah.
and it's fun to share and talk shop. But that being said, we've already kind of mentioned it throughout the episode, but do you want to shout out your multiple projects?
Yeah, superpodnetwork.com, man. It's all there. That's pretty much all I'm doing now. I'm kind of working on a couple we're working on a couple more blogs for that site cuz
Mhm.
it's just fun to write about shit every so often, and there's just some small topics that either don't fit into Superpod Saga or other shows that they're just like, okay, I could probably just write a blog about this. But yeah, Bill, or fuck, sorry, me, Bill, Adam, Matt, the Geek Addicts co-host, and I think Mo in our server we're working on that coolest anime arcs blog. It's really cool. But listeners, just go check out superpodnetwork.com. So many great, awesome shows there. Lots of videos too. If there's any shows that do videos, like all of Bill's shows, and the blog. Check out the blog,
Hmm.
man. Great
It's
stuff.
funny. It's funny because I'll usually like end the episodes with by trying to shout out all the shows and seeing who I forget this time. But I have you here, so I figured I'd let you shout out the site. It's cool. I mean, we've grown significantly since it started. Like,
Dude,
how many months are we going on now? Like,
I think it started in June. I'm pretty sure it started in June. Um, the analytics are crazy. Like I'll check the analytics every so often, and we get quite a few hits off of Google. The people looking up like custom robo or just like a bunch of other hot keywords that manage to fit like the blog or manage to yeah fit the blogs and stuff that we've done. But it's cool, man. Yeah.
Hmm. Nah, definitely. And obviously for video listeners, the link is down there at the bottom. Well, the website address is down there at the bottom. It's super easy to find. Link will be in the description of the podcast. And on that note, everybody, once again, thank you for joining us on the Gaming Collecting Podcast. And you can find Gaming Collecting on all your major podcasting platforms. Be sure to check out SuperPod Network. And with that, everybody, we will see you all later.